The Laws of Ascension, Chapter 119, Drake Lorik feels a sensation of falling before finally landing somewhere. He opens his eyes and sees the bright blue snow-like lights disappearing. They enveloped his entire body and carried him somewhere. But he had to keep his eyes closed, as they're too bright. The slab he used to get here is gone, but he has a note Torvin wrote him before leaving in his other hand. He has an aura-eating bracelet on, loaned to him by Torvin. Looking around, Lorik sees he's in an alley. He stuffs the note in his pocket before taking out a gray cloak from his ring. He wraps it around himself before walking out and leaving. Torvin and Soren told Lorik to meet up with a spy of theirs. They should be resting in an inn called the Weary Griffin. Before leaving the alley, Lorik pauses. He pulls off his white ring that hides his scars. Then he stores it in his ring before walking off. The houses are out of wood and stone, and they look roughly similar to Valthorn's architecture. But the people look more depressed. They aren't as cheerful as Lorik expected them to be. He thought that since they caught the enemy kingdom's princess, they'd be celebrating. But many look depressed and walk with their heads down. It takes Lorik a minute to realize why. There are no men. It's just women, children, and the elderly here. Did Godric draft all men able to fight into the war? That would explain their depression. Do Torvin and Cyrilda know about this? Lorik thinks before finding the inn he's looking for. He walks into it and up to the counter. "How can I help you?" A woman behind the counter asks, neither friendly nor coldly. She's wearing a white apron and a simple blue dress. She looks tired, and her brown hair looks like it hasn't been brushed in days. "I need a room for the night." Lorik replies before pulling out his coin pouch. 5 gold for a night. Meals are another 3. The woman says. Lorik places 5 gold coins onto the counter before she takes them. "Rooms are upstairs. Keys are on the nightstand. Take any room you want except for 7. That room's occupied." The woman says before Lorik turns and walks to the stairs. The stairs are next to the counter, so she can see anyone who tries to go upstairs. Once upstairs, Lorik walks down to room 8. It's right across the hall from 7. Lorik enters and grabs the key. He immediately leaves and locks the door before knocking on room 7's door. He hears some footsteps before the door cracks open. "What do you want?" A woman's gruff voice asks as an amber eye peeks through the crack. "It's Fox. Open the door, Drake," Lorik replies. The eye peeking through goes wide before she steps back. The door opens and a woman stands on the other side. She's a few inches shorter than Lorik. She has dark red hair and amber eyes. Her hair stops just before her shoulders. She's wearing a white tank top and shorts. "Fox, the hell are you doing here?" Drake asks in a hushed tone while motioning for Lorik to enter. He walks in and she shuts the door behind him. "Came to get your help. I'm breaking the 3 new prisoners out. Get me a carriage ready for after." Lorik replies, causing her to freeze. She stares at him before sighing. "What?" she asks, convinced she misheard. "I'm going to break into the prison and break out Vera, Seraphina, and Rowan," Lorik says, causing her to sigh. "That's impossible. There are 3 grand mages here," Drake replies. "No, there should only be 1, or at least there will be soon," Lorik says. She gives him a questioning look before he continues. "Torvin and Soren are both heading to the front lines with Cyrilda and King Eldrin. They'll attack Calvaris' army, forcing grand mages to be sent as reinforcements. Since the closest grand mages are here in the capital, it's clear who they'll send. For the record, I used a teleportation slab to get here, so they won't have any idea that someone's here to break them out." Lorik explains before remembering something. "Oh yeah, Torvin said to give this to you," Lorik adds while pulling out the note. He hands it to Drake, who reads it over. She takes a deep breath before sighing. "All right. I'll have a wagon ready for you tomorrow. It'll be by the south gate. I'll leave a map in the wagon with your directions on it. Take that to get back to Valthorn. Also, did you really have law waves?" Drake asks. "Law waves?" Lorik asks back. "It's when your law moves along your skin in a similar way to waves. It's usually only something first-tier mages and grand mages experience. But it's dangerous. They come out during times of either intense stress or intense emotion. They come out as a result of the law attempting to help their master. So they end up attacking everything they come into contact with. As it's made of entirely pure law energy, It's very powerful. It's also a good way to reveal exactly what law you use. I was told in the note to warn you to keep yourself calm and cool-headed. It's apparently going to be bad if they discover your law, Drake explains. All right, I'll keep that in mind. Lorik replies before they both stand up. I'll go get your wagon. It'll be ready and waiting in 6 hours. So around midnight, she says. I'll get started in 6 hours then, Lorik says before walking back to his room. Drake leaves the inn and gets to work. Lorik pulls the blanket off the bed and onto the floor. Nixfang comes out of his soul, and he sleeps against her. Even though it's only 6 p.m., Lorik falls asleep quickly. He wakes up to Nixfang gently biting down on his arm and shaking it. Thanks, Nixfang, Lorik says groggily before getting up. Thank me by getting Vera back, and telling her how you feel, Nixfang says before entering his soul. Lorik sighs before shaking his head. He slaps his palms against his cheeks so he can use the sting to wake himself up fully. He places the key down on the nightstand before leaving the inn. The woman's gone, and the front door is closed. There's a sign that says any early birds can leave through the back. Lorik walks back to the back door and opens it. It leads to an alley, and he makes his way to the prison. Torvin showed him a map of the capital before he left, so Lorik knows where to go. It took him a while to find the inn, simply because he didn't know where he teleported to. The slabs teleport to a random location inside the capital. The only rules for it are that there are no people, and it's outside in the capital, so he had to look around to get his bearings. Now Lorik practically makes a beeline for the prison. It takes a few minutes to get there. It's a massive stone building with barred windows. It has 3 floors, each with these barred windows. Lorik walks down the side of it, looking for the entrance. He turns down an alley and sees 2 people next to a wooden door. One is wearing the gray guard uniform, and the other is covered in a cloak. They both stop what they're doing as Lorik approaches. Lorik sees a bag of coins under the man's cloak, poking out from the gap across his chest. Guessing from the black leather collars in the guard's hands, he guesses the guard is selling them illegally. How convenient. Lorik mutters before smiling a little. He walks up to the 2 men and moves his left hand behind his back. What do you want? The guard asks angrily as the cloaked man steps behind the guard's frame. Lorik's smile grows wider as he takes out his soul weapon, only on his left hand. He makes a sword aura appear on his claws, filling it with his soul law. Just curious what you're doing out so late at night? Lorik replies, but it comes out as a question. He doesn't care what he says, only that he says something to distract them. The guard opens his mouth before Lorik quickly swings out. He fires off the sword aura, which goes through the guard. It destroys his soul while leaving his body pristine. The aura travels through his body and into the cloaked man next. He falls just as easily as the first. Since neither of them were mages, their souls were far weaker than those of mages. As such, they had no means to resist a soul attack from a 5th-tier mage. After absorbing all that soul power from ancient grand mages, Lorik and Nixfang both became 5th-tier mages. What are you doing with the bodies? Nixfang asks. This? Lorik replies before storing the cloaked man's corpse in his green ring. He takes off the guard's uniform before doing the same with his corpse. Then Lorik changes clothes, changing into the guard's uniform. It's a tight fit, as the guard was just slightly shorter than Lorik, but he manages to squeeze into it. As long as you don't look closely, it doesn't look weird either. Lorik holds the guard's key ring and stores the collars he had before entering the prison. He pushes the wooden side door open and walks in. He enters a cold stone hallway and walks down it. He passes empty doorways and peeks inside each. Each one leads to a room with 6 cells. A few of them have prisoners, but most are empty. He gets to the end of the hall and finds a sign at a split. The hall turns left and right. The sign says left to the entrance and barracks, right to cells and contraband. Lorik turns right and follows the signs. He passes 2 guards, but neither says anything. All they do is glance at him as he walks past. Lorik gets to a set of stairs, next to a door that says contraband. It's locked, but Lorik tries the keys he took from the guard. The key ring he took has 5 keys on it. He unlocks it with the 3rd key, and fortunately, no other guard appears in sight. Why are we going in here? Nixfang asks him as he enters the door. Inside is a small stone room with metal lockers lining the wall. I'm looking for their stuff. Might as well since I'm here. Lorik replies before looking at the lockers. They're all named with a letter followed by a number. The letter is either A, B, or C, and the numbers go from 1 to 75. Under that is a name. Lorik finds Sarah's name under C1. He opens the locker, surprised it's not locked, before finding all of their stuff. It has Sarah's belongings and Rowan's and Vera's. Lorik stores it all in his rings before leaving. Fortunately, no one's there. He goes up the stairs and sees a sign. It says Floor B, and below is another sign saying Floor C. Lorik follows the Floor C sign to another staircase and goes up another floor. They were in C1, so they should be in the first cell up here. Lorik thinks as he gets to the top of the stairs. As soon as he gets up, he sees a guard walking. He's pushing a cart covered with a white blood-stained sheet. Lorik's blood runs cold as he recognizes some of the items bulging through the sheet. Torturing tools. Lorik thinks before following the man. He walks a few more feet before turning through an empty doorway. Lorik slowly walks up to the doorway before hearing the man speak. "Hello again, dear princess. It took longer than I thought, but my king finally allowed me to come and give you the true Calvaris prisoner treatment. Now we don't have too much time before I have to stop, so let's not waste a second, all right?" The man says with a sadistic glee in his tone. Lorik grits his teeth and takes out his soul weapons. He fills them both with soul law-infused sword auras. "Oh, and don't worry about your friends. I'm going to treat them the same way. I've never had the pleasure of welcoming a demon to my prison. I've always wondered how your kind screams in agony," he adds, causing Lorik's body to burn. Law waves ripple and arc along his claws as his hair starts glowing slightly. Something Lorik wasn't told, since Drake doesn't know this, is that law waves speed up the process of laws changing your body. The more law waves that occur, the quicker the body changes to match the law. Since his law waves have been coming quickly and so rapidly, his body is changing to suit the law of the hunt. Bits of his hair turn into a silvery gray color. Lorik turns the corner and runs into the room, not caring about being quiet anymore.